2 kids from Queens, cut from a different cloth. Now joining forces, helping you to elevate your personal brand. Yeah, I'm talking about Nicky and Moose, bringing you a never-before-seen perspective into the mindset, the mentality, the behaviors, the driving force, but more importantly, the stories behind the people and brands that you know and love the most.
Oh, why did I do that? Here we go. Was poppin'. Welcome, Nicky and Moose. I'm Nicky. That's Moose. What's up, Moose?
What up, y'all?
And welcome to the live show. For those who know, Creator Ave. If you know, you know. First and foremost, shout out to everybody who is watching this live or the replay. Do us a favor. Please like this video because that helps with the algorithm, right? Share it to all your people. Tell them to come through. We have an important conversation that everybody needs, so do that. Of course, it's podcast day, so episode 141 drop today. Shout out to the one and only Marshall Fox. We interviewed him. A man who went from a credit union to insurance to making 7 figures on graphic designing. And so we spoke about it, broke down the business side, broke down the branding side, the creative process. A really, really good interview, especially for our creative entrepreneurs. Go check that out. Moose, how are we feeling today?
Man, I'm feeling pretty good. Thank you for asking. For sure, definitely a powerful conversation with Marshall. I hit him up after, like, man, you're so humble, bro. You gotta like maybe be a little less humble. Not stop being humble, but be a little bit less humble.
Right.
But nah, man, really, really, really cool episode. Y'all gotta definitely check it out.
That's a fact. Update on the baby.
Yeah, baby's doing good, man. She just turned 3 months a couple days ago, last week actually, and so. Yeah, she's getting bigger, and she's awesome, man. She's awesome. Definitely a blessing. So yeah, we're grateful.
Yay! I like this. I like this for you, sir. I like this for you.
Thank you.
But what are we talking about today? What are we doing?
Let us know how you doing first. We want a quick update on the one and only Don, and just give us a quick rundown real quick, and then we'll jump into this thing.
Oh, I'm Gucci. Currently geeking out on Notion. If you don't have Notion, we may have to talk about it one day. I'm currently geeking out on certain new features that is going to save a lot of people time. So Cuddles is great. The Don of Cuddles is chilling. He as well turned 3 months.
Hello.
Okay. Hello. And his personality, I'm waiting on really going crazy on the branding with him because his personality is starting to show a little bit more. And so what I thought was going to be a storyline is no longer. And so we're like, okay, let's see how you turn out, sir. Let's see. Let's just have fun with these little cute little videos here and there. And then let's turn up. But yeah, I'm just enjoying having a dog.
I love it. I love it. Yep. Same time, 3 months and 3 months. So that's what I'm saying. It's a nice little journey. I love it. I love it. Well, listen, y'all, thanks for tapping in, man. Real quick, just as we get going, let me know how you're feeling in the comments too, please. I'd love to know. If you're feeling good, drop a 1. Just drop a quick 1. Like, yeah, things are good. We chilling. It's vibe time, and Tuesdays is cool. If you're like, I don't know. Sometimes you have those days. Let's be real. Drop a 2 in the comments. Let us know how you're feeling. Very important conversation, though. I'm really excited to tap into this. Last time we had this dialogue was a little over 10 months ago. And believe it or not, Nicky's technology crashed. Now, it was crazy because it was the perfect time to talk about all of this. And she's never the one who has any real tech issues. I'm usually the one with the terrible tech issues. And sure enough, it was her, and she was able to stream in from her phone and still made it work nonetheless. So I said, you know what? Yeah, let's revisit this dialogue, because 10 months was a long time ago. Let's be honest, a lot has changed on the social platform since we've last had the discussion. And so it's good for us to revisit this, especially as the summer gets going. I know that this is a time when a lot of people get sidetracked and a little bit distracted, because if you live in a cold state, you don't really get warm weather like that. And so it's very tempting for you to put your goals and dreams off to the side and say, oh, BRB, I'll be back on that. Let me just go enjoy some of this fun sun time or whatnot. And so I think this would be a good conversation for us to dive into. We're talking about how to create consistent content, y'all. So let's, yeah. Bring the notepads and let's get into this. I see y'all with the ones though. Michael, career coach, Mercy. I see y'all, man. I see y'all with the one. We'll put one like win in past tense. One. I like that. I'm about to start putting my ones like that. I won already. I love it.
Mad at that.
I love it. Yeah, and I see some. I'm doing okay. I'm cool with the I'm doing okay. Sometimes, hey, listen, those days are real too. I'm gonna be honest. Those days are too. The okay days, they're real. They happen, and you just got to keep putting one foot in front of the other, and make sure that the okay days don't turn into two okay days. Right? I think the back-to-back okay days really like, oh shoot, hold up, what's happening here? One okay day is cool. We could be real with that, but bounce back the next day. So. Nix, let's get into it though. I mean, creating consistent content, we keep mentioning this just because it's, I don't know that it's surprising us, but it's definitely a heck of a streak to be 140 plus episodes in on the podcast and then also on the lives. It's a lot of consistent work and a lot of dedication that goes into this. But I want to just get maybe an updated pulse on how you're approaching consistently creating content right now. And then we'll keep building on it from there.
I think that's easy. First we have to understand the importance of consistency, right? And it's funny because I legit had this conversation with Deeper Than the Brand. I'm doing like this walk and learn. So every time I walk around, I'm going live with them, right? And I legit talked about consistency and how sometimes we get sick, and people in the chat definitely type a 1 if you've heard the typical have a great work ethic, be consistent, and be authentic, right? And we're like, there has to be more. And no, not really, right? Of course, there's tips and tricks to make everything work. But I think we continue to hear the importance of consistency because some of us are not in our max level of consistency. Not necessarily are we consistent. Are we really in our max level? We get sick of hearing the basics, but we're not at 100 with these 3 things of work hard, be consistent, and be authentic. We may be doing to a certain extent. Now, the importance of maxing out on your consistency is legit to create connections and relationships. That's pretty much the real true reason to be consistent. If we're on social networks, social media, there has to be some type of social, meaning there has to be some type of connections, meaning I have to show up on a consistent basis to create that connection, to create that relationship, so that when I say, hey, go left, you go left because you trust me, because I'm consistent with what I'm doing, right? It's not just a matter of, hey, it's Tuesday, I got to post something, let me post that, right? That's weak consistency. That's like low level consistency. And I'm talking about how do we max out on our consistency? How are we being intentional with showing up for the people. I could show up, and if I'm having a conversation with Moose, and let's say he's super happy, right? Happy, love his baby, love his wife, woo woo, and I'm like, British has tea on sale. What? What? That's the first thing you're gonna tell me? Like, the British have tea on sale? What does that have to do with the price of tea of China? Like, what does this mean in any kind of form, right? That's similar to me jumping on social media and throwing up anything. I'm not really connecting with my audience. I'm really not talking to them. But me knowing Moose, one of the first things I always ask, how's the baby? Oh, great, love. You see the smile. I love talking about this, and you're talking to me about something I love to talk about. Right. We're here. Right. Smile, great. Mind you, Moose is very like, you say something that makes him smile, he's good, right? So this is where the intentional consistency comes in. Now you're being intentional with how you show up and the communication that you give to your audience, that they say, oh, snap, he or she or they care. Because you're not just throwing up anything in the wall, you're throwing up something that's going to make me smile. You're throwing up something that makes me think. You're throwing up something that makes me motivated, right? So the importance of consistency, we need to truly understand. One, are we really maxed out on our consistency? Are we at a level 100, or are we legit 50? Are we legit 60, right? We may be a strong 70, 80. That's a fact. Yo, I'm showing up every day, maybe multiple times a day. Absolutely. Great. Is it intentional? You feel me? So from a 1 to 100, for the people in the chat, for the people watching the replay, from a 1 to 100, what level are you on in consistency? And just be honest. Y'all maxed out. I'm fire with consistency. I'm 100. I'm out here. Every single time I post, I'm posting consistently and posting with intentional consistency. Cool. Some of us are going to be like, strong 40. And 40 because I'm just self-aware. So strong. So, yeah. That's what I think.
Yeah, the added layer of not just consistent, but with intentionality, because you could be very randomly consistent. It's like you're consistent in a lot of random stuff. It's like, okay, pass. Let's see. But there was a time when you mentioned, and I like how you defined this, when you said that consistency doesn't always have to mean every day. Consistency just means that you're consistent to the standard that you set, and you're staying true to those standards, or you're constantly being honest and showing up on those days. Talk a little bit about that, because the thing that comes to mind definitely around that is some people, when they hear consistency, they immediately hear every day. And I definitely want to make sure we touch on that a little bit.
Yeah. If we look at some of our, let's say, favorite shows are consistent. They show up once a week, right? In seasons, once a week. It doesn't lessen their value because they're not showing up every day. They said to their audience, I'm going to show up once a week. You're going to look forward to the times that I actually show up, because I'm coming intentional, right? I'm making sure when I do show up this once a week, it comes jam-packed to the point where you're like, okay, when's the next one? Can we just skip the commercials? Bump that? So it is what we're committing to our audience not every single day, every time we show up. Yo, I'm going to show up strong 3 times. I'm going to show up strong 4 times. And that's cool. Now, it also plays a game of how quick do we want to grow? So we can't sit here and say, I'm getting frustrated because I don't have 10,000 followers, but you've intentionally been posting 3 times when we know we're in high competition with people who are posting every single day. Now, am I saying you can't get 10,000? Absolutely not. You can. With posting 3-4 times a day, not necessarily every day, absolutely. But it's a slower rise. And we have to be okay with that. Because I always say we do want to have the goal of daily. Absolutely, right? We want to be in the runnings. Cool. But do we have the resources? Right? Is our quality getting bashed because of the quantity? Right? Are we just throwing up stuff in the air just to say, yo, I've been doing this Sunday to Sunday? Right? Especially for my teams of one, we have to be realistic with our time, with our systems, and our energy. We may not be able, and especially for those who are like, I'm on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter. I'm on everything. But are you consistent on everything? Right? Is there something that's taking kind of a hurt? Right? So it is being in, especially no matter what level you're on. What am I committing to? 3 times, 4 times, 5 times? What am I committing to? And in the chat, please let us know, yo, I'm committing to 5 times a week. I'm committing to probably a strong 4. And I can stay daily on stories. You know what I mean? Like I could do that. Nicky, I'm on YouTube, just like y'all. I'm doing a strong once a week. But when I show up, the content is fuego. Say less. What are you committing to? And stay there. But work on improving yourself 1%. Whether that is the quality, whether that is the connection, whether that's the storytelling, or whether that is the increase of output as far as posting. However you go about it. But all I care about is how are we improving at least 1% every day. So, yeah.
Man, that's so powerful. I love that. Yeah, I want to, as I think about a lot of these different concepts with the consistency, the intentionality, all of these different things, of course, the thing that comes to mind, and I'm sure someone is thinking about it, is the idea of time management. Oh, Nicky, but I don't have time. I can't dedicate that much time to creating content. And that's the thing that stifles my consistency. Maybe I'm super creative. Maybe I have a lot of things to say, but I just simply can't dedicate enough time to creating one consistent quality of content that is going out with the intentionality and all of these different things. And so quite as kept, that was definitely one of my excuses. I won't even call them my reasons, because I think for a lot of time, especially when we don't enjoy something, we often put out reasons that are really masked as excuses, right? Or they're excuses that are masked as reasons so that they can just help us put up with the fact that we're not doing the thing that we know we should be doing. And for a long time, that was my relationship with Instagram and social media as a whole. But as of late, the thing that I'm realizing, and I'm hoping you'll talk about, either the ideas around batch creation or even the repurposing. But the one thing that clicked for me, and I think has been so helpful on my journey over the last 13 months or so, because the last 13 months is really when I dialed in and started to almost become transformed by the content and the work that we were doing on the podcast, because it became so apparent to me that you can't have a business today if you don't have some level of content or presence online. If you're not showing up and building a connection, not just showing up to sell, but if you don't have, or you don't take the time to build a connection and trust with your audience, it's going to be difficult for you to have a sustainable business or one that's growing. And so over the last 13 months, that's when I dialed in. But I hit a stride when I realized that I don't have to look at creating content as something that is a separate line item or task on my schedule. I started to look at my schedule and I said, what can I record, or what am I already recording? We live in a world today where a lot of our stuff is virtual. You're on virtual meetings all the time. That's content. All right. There's a lot of our stuff that we're doing that is literally happening. It's so easy to just say, all right, how can I take what I'm already doing and spin that around to become more content or things that help me with my output? So those are the things that I've done, Nick, and really have seen a tremendous turnaround there. So yeah, expand a little bit on the repurposing. And I don't know if batch creation is something that you've done or recommend or whatnot. I've never personally done it outside of, let's say, when we're recording something for a major training or something like that. But outside of that, I haven't done much of that. So I'm curious to know your thoughts.
Yeah. So it's about four things. You literally, I swear, you went in deeper than the brand was like, oh, she just talked on this. Let's go this way, right? And I have a strong, especially past, I don't know, a couple of years, you would know, I have a strong appreciation for systems now, right? I'm not a system person, but I understand the importance of it, and I have definitely implemented certain ones. I'm actually building one that I'm super excited about when it comes to like a content workflow. And what I mean by a content workflow is that we have to understand, regardless of our niche, regardless of our consistency, regardless if we are the batch type or the spontaneous on point situation, off top, what I mean, we have to have some type of system, some type of content workflow to kind of make sure that it goes from research to planning to creating to then distributing, right? So we have to think about it. So from a batch standpoint, these are people who will take a day or two and create for the whole week, for the whole couple of weeks, for the whole month, for the whole quarter. It depends on how much you can do. Now, with that, you still need to have a certain system. You need to have, okay, what is the research on my niche, on my audience, on, the pain points? What is the solution? How are we visually going to show that? What content formats are we going to use? Whether it's video, whether it's audio, whether it's written, or whether it's photo. How am I going to do that, right? And us talking like that is starting to get into the planning mode, right? For my images, what am I trying to look for, right? What pictures am I taking? What AI art generator image am I going to be using? What is it going to represent for this certain content idea, this certain concept? For written, what blog posts, what quotes, what emails are going to represent these ideas, these pain points that I'm trying to give? Videos, what short form, what long form content is going to go with these video ideas, these content ideas, and where are my scripts, or where's the foundation of what this is going to be about? Then we're going to be talking about the creation part. We have all the research and the planning. Now we got to create. Now we got to hit record. Now we got to do the go into Mid Journey, Microsoft Designer for the AI art generator. Now we have to go into Canva, right? Whether it's a DSLR camera, whether it's a web camera, whether it's our phone, we have to create. And then once we create, now we have to spread it to the world. Now, from a batch standpoint, now we're thinking about, okay, we got to schedule it out. So are we using platforms like Later? Are we using platforms like Business Suite if we're all in Meta, aka Instagram or Facebook? Are we going into Hootsuite? Are we doing Buffer, right? What platform are we doing? Or are we using native platforms and we're scheduling right inside of the social media platforms? Now we have to plan that and distribute our content that we've batched out so we could live our life and be business owners of creating other kind of content, that whole nine. That's for the batch people. For those people who are spontaneous, who create on that day, you just have a faster process. You do it right on the spot, but you still do the same thing. You still do your research, you still do your planning, you still do your creating, and you still distribute. So regardless of what route that you go through, there still has to be that system, that certain workflow that you have to go through, because some of us stop somewhere. We may create, but we didn't distribute, right? We didn't do our research. We went straight into planning. And so now we may struggle with the creation part because I didn't really research. I just went into, I need to create something, right? And if I didn't do my research and I'm struggling with the creation part, I'm not going to post anything. And so that wastes my consistency. I'm not consistent anymore. So I said a lot, and I said it very New York fashion, but yeah, that was that.
That's fire.
And in the chat, in the comments, are you the batch type in batch, or are you the off top type of person, the spontaneous one who creates on the go based off updates, based off how they feel, that whole nine? So off top or batch.
No, but I think you literally just laid out a process, or as you called it, a workflow to identify what side you're on. I know, and I guess you could, I'm maybe closer to the batch than the spontaneous, although I do spontaneous things, but they're so rare. You know, I was on a call with some of our community members yesterday, and I was telling them the thing that I learned, and I hope that you all walk away from it too as well, is not to create or post out of desperation. You know, those desperate posts tend to be the worst performing ones because for whatever reason, your heart's not in it. Your intuition is not there. The audience can, I don't know. I think it's almost at a point where the audience can sense that, okay, no, this doesn't make sense. This is not really authentic. It doesn't have that same voice in it. Something is there. And so one of the hacks that I did, which was really simple, actually, I looked at my calendar and I was looking for those repetitive, reoccurring things. What are those things that I do on a weekly, repetitive, reoccurring basis? Because that's most of who I am, right? And some of those included work events, some of those included personal events, some of those included, whatever else you have going on. And I looked to schedule my content creation around that, right? And so if you look at my calendar, especially now that we have a child, we literally have every other day, either myself or my wife will get the morning. So we have the morning from 5 to 8:30 every other day. That's one of our mornings. And so because of the consistency of being able to work out, it's like, hey, use that as something that you sprinkle in. Obviously, I'm not looking to be a fitness person, but that's something that I can use. I can build some level of brand awareness around or include into my personal brand because I do it so regularly. When I bank on something to help me be consistent, but I'm not consistent on the thing that I'm banking on, then of course it's going to be difficult to be consistent. So if you're someone who follows a schedule, and this probably will work best for those who are really structured, look at your schedule and look at the things that you're most consistent around and anchor your creation or your content around that, to use as something that you infuse. And of course, I ended up scheduling or creating a live for that reason. So I saw someone mention the flight assessment live that we do on Fridays. I put that there specifically because I said, okay, for one, I want to connect with more people on a live fashion so that they don't just see me in an orchestrated, nice camera, great mic, everything sounds great. Come hang out with me just face to face, right from the phone. But I took a page out of your book in the sense that slightly off to the right next to the phone where I'm going live from, is my camera. Here's my audio. I'm capturing both of those because I'm already doing the work. And what's not to say that something I said either in the beginning, the end, or the middle, not everyone's going to catch on to that, right? There's a lot of people who don't tune into 30, 40, 50-minute lives. So those are just little things that I think we can think about and position in our schedule to say, how can I be consistent? Be consistent around the things that you're already consistently doing. That's the best way to almost habit stack and push yourself in that direction.
That's fire. I like that you're doing the camera to the side. Because what's great about that is that we're already used to you not looking to the camera. So
right.
So it's like natural content already because we're so used to you being like,
so what's up? Yeah.
Right. It's like, oh,
right.
You already do that. So I like that. I like that for you.
Yeah, I've honestly, I can't say I'm getting accustomed to looking at the camera. I'm getting accustomed to being on camera because I'm on camera so much. But I am very comfortable when we talk, even here, I'm looking at your side of the screen. I'm not really looking at myself. It just helps me to know that I'm talking to someone. And so even when I'm doing trainings and they're virtual, I usually pick a face and I'm talking to that person. There could be 50 other people on the call, but I'm looking at that one person because I want to feel that I'm talking to someone. It's almost like an introvert hack to deal with maybe the natural pressure or even levels of stress that come with feeling like you're talking to so many people and you're trying to say so many different things to all of them. It's like, no, just pick one person, lock in with them and make that connection. So on the live, it's the same thing. I don't do the live by myself. You'll start to see even the repetitive nature in, lean on other people to help anchor and structure the things that you have to say so that you don't have to carry it all alone. But I'm sure as we start to talk on this part of the process now, I feel like there's somebody in the comments or somebody who's going to be listening to this on whatever platform you're listening to it on. You're going to say, man, but you know what? My issue is that I tend to overthink and I maybe get creative block. And that becomes the clog in my workflow where because I just feel so almost messed up, I don't have anywhere to go. So let's talk about helping people overcome the creative block or just not being able to, get over their overthinking to consistently produce the content.
Got you. First, let's welcome all the new people. Saw that in the chat. Shout out to the new people. If you're in the background, not in the comments, and this is your first time watching or listening to us, please let us know. I'm new. Let me know. Let Moose know so we could celebrate y'all. I mean, we put it on the screen, that whole nine, right? But let's talk about the overthinking, like you said. So, in this new version of us talking about how to be consistent with content, there's something that changed that is going to help you with your overthinking, with the creative stump, and that's AI, right? Well, there's a few things, but let's start with AI. There isn't necessarily a reason anymore to say, I can't think of anything. I don't have no ideas. There's nothing really inspiring me when we have ChatGPT. We literally can put our niche, put who we're talking to, maybe some pain points, and it's going to create a whole situation for us, right? Now, from the overthinking as far as creating and posting and thinking that is not good enough, now that's where we have to really look at what's been working and not what we like, right? but what's just been working in general. And I'm going to keep referring this because like I said, I legit just talked about this in Deeper Than the Brand. There is a shift that's happening that I'm seeing, or that is finally hit my timeline on a very strong way, which is we're not necessarily caring about the regular tips and tricks and that whole nine. We're caring about the organic storytelling that you give, right? We want to have that deeper connection with you. Now, this is where we have to stop thinking that this isn't good enough. I mean, us on the phone isn't good enough. Now, there's, of course, I'll say things that can improve. For example, if I'm using my phone, I may want to use the back camera instead of the front camera because it has better quality. I may not want to use my phone audio. I may want to get a wireless mic, right? We can still have standards, but not standards that will stop us. Because at the end of the day, people still want us to be present. So, okay, cool. I forgot my mic. I'm still going to post. I'm still going to do, like, a prime example was, I think yesterday I did a green screen tutorial, right? I forgot my mic upstairs. Mind you, I am in the house. I'm in the house, right? Yeah. I left it upstairs, but I was inspired and wanted to get it done now that I didn't necessarily care about, oh snap, is this super professional? Did you hear it? Did I put captions on it? Is the content visual? Cool. Then you know what? I ain't going to trip off of the little thing that I know I can improve. I'll just improve it the next time. Why? Because there's always going to be a next time. We're not stopping social media today. If we post, it's the last post we've ever done. It got to be perfect. Go. No, we already forgot about it. Like the second you post about it, we forgot it, right? Also, when it comes to the overthinking, and 9 out of 10 times, we are looking at other people and saying, yo, I got to do this. I got to do that. I remember when Moose thought TikTok was just dancing. I remember that, right? And now I'll be sending him some TikToks of like super educational. He's like, damn, where is this on my TikTok? Where? Mm-hmm. I don't get this. I was like, I got 3 timelines. You probably on one of my other ones, but it's all right, you know? But because we see something over and over again, we have to remember that's not the world. That's not everybody doing it. That's the 2,000 people that we're following. That's the 5,000 people that we're following. Maybe 7,000 if we just really like all these people, right? Maybe 7,000 people. You're going to tell me at most 10 to 7,000 people is the world? And we know the algorithm hits. So we're not even seeing all the people that we follow. So we're sitting here probably consuming, I'll say, on a real binge-worthy day, consuming 100 pieces of content in that hour. Let's just say that. Over 100 pieces of content that hour. Long form, short form, however you want to go about it. You're going to say 100 pieces of content represents the whole world. No. Because when we look at some of the things that go viral, it's not what we've seen. It's stuff that comes from a phone. It's stuff that is done super organically. Now, of course, we have those rare moments, the highly produced, like skits and everything like that. Yes, of course. But some of the content that is going viral, some of the things that are working are pure trash. Just quality wise, not what they're saying, not what they're doing. Quality wise is pure trash. Sometimes it's what they're saying. It's just not what I like. So I'm going to be mindful of that. I'm not going to say what they're saying is trash, but look wise is nothing special. And we stop everything that we're doing and not putting out. And I know there's a lot of people that have content on their phone right now that isn't posting because they don't think it looks good. They think it's outdated. They think, oh my God, I wanted it to be a certain kind of way. It's not. Post it, because we're not creating content for us. We're being selfish by holding the content in our phone on Google Drive, Dropbox for those super organized people. Shout out to y'all. I want to be like you when I grow up, right? But some of us are holding on content that could really impact people, right? I coached this guy named Philip Webb, right? Shout out to Phil. He's an ATM guy. Now, mind you, to some, ATMs are not exciting, right? Learning about it, not exciting. Cool. However, he went to an event this past weekend, right? Shout out to Terica. And several people recognized him. Several people said, yo, oh my God, you're here. This is amazing. Mind you, the event that he was at had celebrities, had Jeezy, had all these people. And they said, wow, Philip Webb is here. He talks about ATMs. And people are impacted, was like, yo, grab their wives and like, yo, come meet Phil. He's great. He's here. It's the people that aren't commenting, liking, sharing our posts that are the ones that are impacted the most. So once again, are we creating content for ourselves, or are we creating content in order to create impact, in order to help people get to the next level, in order to find the solution that they have been seeking for, in order to just get that relief that people were needing at that moment because the life is just heavy? Like, what are we doing this for? So the overthinking, I understand it. I get it, because the best of the best overthink. We're going to doubt ourselves at all times. That's fine. We have high expectations for us. We believe that we should be at a certain point, quick, fast, in a hurry. Got it. Great. Cool. But once again, we have to remember we're not doing this for us. We're doing it for them. So, yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that was powerful, Nick. I'm not gonna lie.
Thank you.
Yeah, I didn't expect you to snap on this one, but yeah, that's a good word. That's a good word. I'm not gonna lie. I gotta say the truth. That was good. That was good.
I didn't know you were going that way, but
Yeah. No, that's a good. But I think the part that you said about it's the people who are not commenting or sharing or liking, those are the ones that are impacting the most, man. And that's true, because and especially for data-driven people, that's so difficult to see. Like, you can't measure that, and so you're impacted, especially when. And a part of the strategy or advice that's shared is, hey, check your insights. And yeah, you have to do that too. But if checking your insight is going to make you stop creating, then maybe you should stop checking your insights. Because I still think at the end of the day.
Wait, first of all, you're not going to speed past that like you didn't just say what you just said.
You feel me, Nix? Because I'm just saying, like, yo, at the end of the day, some level of activity is always better than no level of activity. And so if checking your insights because you're so data driven, it just stops you in your track and you stop creating content altogether, not a good metric, right? I always use myself as the guinea pig on here because I that's what I did. And that's what I did. And then it caused almost a 2-year hiatus. And it's like, was that a smart move? No, because you completely halted your growth and what was happening. And so now you're having to do double the work to catch up. So I will say that Don't let the insights stop you. Use them to guide you. That's always a good benchmark there. And also for people who overthink, I think something that's important too is we tend to give a lot of content or create a lot of content that is centered around advice giving or strategy or information. It's a gut check, almost use it as an accountability piece, but ask yourself, am I living by the advice that I'm giving? And a lot of times, a lot of the things that end up catching us off guard or stop our consistency or don't make us do the things that we know we should be doing, in some shape or form, you're probably giving advice on those things. So just ask yourself and challenge yourself to live by that advice. Like, yo, I'm already talking on it. That means I have this information. All that's left is to gain some help or just to simply apply it. Like, let me live by the advice that I'm giving. That I believe should help calm the overthinking a little bit. But anything you wanted to add to that? Because I was going to go in a different direction, but you went too hard on this for me not to at least try and get it back.
I was like, I said a lot. I don't know.
You went too
what
hard
more
on
you
that
want
for
me to
not
say?
to try and give it back. No, I do want to talk about just burnout before we close. And folks, if you got any questions, man, it's always great for us to interact live right here. So maybe start dropping those questions in the comments and we'll circle back at the end here with a couple minutes and get to your questions. And shout out to everyone who's been live and active with us today, man. I see you on here showing love and keeping the comments right. So appreciate y'all for that for sure. But I do want to talk about this last thing before we go and maybe get to some questions, but burnout. Because with consistency, with all of these things that we're talking about, we can't ignore the fact that burnout is a real thing. Now, some people have mastered being consistent even as they rest. I think that takes a new level of mastery. Mm-hmm. But let's talk about burnout because it's a real thing. I know I don't always experience burnout. I do experience boredom. And honestly, I think it's the other side of the coin. It's the same thing. It's like I'm burnt out and I don't have fresh ideas. So it comes off as boredom because I'm still working in some, in some fashion. But yeah, give us your stance on that, Nix.
I mean, burnout is real. It's a real thing and it could stop a lot of people in their tracks, especially when things are in the up, right? I believe there's two places where you can create a burnout. When there's no traction and when there's a lot of traction, right? Because when there's a lot of traction, you want that to stay there. Now you got that hit. You're like, yo, I gotta continue to bring that, right? Or you have a sense of responsibility and you're going and and you just get burned out, right? And then of course, when you feel, once again, you feel that you're not getting any kind of results, now it's like, oh snap, I'm doing all this, forget this, this ain't it. You feel me? So it's a matter of understanding, and this is where the creative self-awareness comes in play, right? Of when are you feeling overwhelmed? It's a real thing, and there's nothing to be ashamed of. Yo, I'm creating a podcast. I'm doing vertical videos all day. I'm thinking about doing a YouTube. I'm doing this. But it's a lot. Okay, slow it down. Slow it down. And if you have to stop, stop. Nothing wrong with that, to gather yourself back to then come back strong, right? Because now you can learn from what triggered that. You can learn from, okay, I did all this. That took me over here. I can't do that again. So if I could redo this, what would I do different? Because I do plan on coming back, but what would I do different? Would I delegate? Would I only create so many times? This is why I'm very big on only saying, yo, create once or twice something new once or twice a week. That's it. For this podcast, we create a total of twice a week. That's it. One for the podcast, one for the live. That's it. All the other pieces of content that you see from YouTube, clips, shorter clips of the podcast, to Instagram, to Twitter, to Facebook, whatever, wherever you're seeing the rest of the content at, that's all repurposed. Why? Because us doing based off our schedules, and we know our schedules, based off what we do, we couldn't do that on a consistent basis and still stay sane. We probably would not like each other eventually, right? So you have to look at, okay, what can I do? How often can I create? What systems do I have in place that will allow me to repurpose? What minimum task can I give to AI, or can I give to a virtual assistant? Or to maybe a cousin if they want to do that. Some family member that just wants an extra couple of bucks, right? What do we have in place that will allow us to not experience creative burnout? It happens to the best of us at least pretty much once a year. Right? It does. It happens. So if we know that, let's learn from the last time. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say, well, you learned from the last time, it'll never happen again. Because we have all different triggers. Right? We have all different triggers. Maybe posting everywhere was one of our triggers last year, to where this year all the ideas are coming out and you haven't executed on one. That could be another thing. Nobody in your team is listening. That could be another thing. None of the content is working. That could be another thing. You're going to get hit. It's like life. Once we think we have a grasp of it, something else comes along and goes, haha, I see you doing amazing in your creative process. Let me add this wrench real quick, see how you do. Okay, let me add this wrench. Let me see how you do. Okay, cool, right? Be aware of when it happened last time. Learn from last time. Shout out to Isaiah. He uses it more from a tech side as far as his edits. But do we have an error log for our creative process? When something goes wrong, when we're feeling a certain kind of way, when we feel exhausted, when we're in a slump, are we writing that down? Are we speaking that in an audio note? What are we doing to log our creative process, ups and downs, so we can learn from it for the next time? So,
whatever you're doing as far as your morning routine and your eating, just please keep doing that, because this was really, really good. This was really, really good. This was awesome. I mean that.
Whatever you're doing, whatever you're doing with this,
yeah,
eat more mangoes.
Of them things. Yeah, eat more of that. Whatever you eat right now, eat more of that. That was good. Fire. I love it. I love it.
That.
Yeah.
You know, once in a while. But I think we have a few minutes. What has helped you this year not experience creative burnout maybe as frequent or at all this year?
Yeah. No, I think I reached it. I definitely hit it. And again, for me, it shows up in the form of burnout because, you know, I'm always tapped into some level of work. And like we've always said, we enjoy the work. So it's not anything like, oh, gosh, I don't want to work. I'm burnt out from working. No, we enjoy the work. So it doesn't always feel like work. You can have fatigue, which is different than burnout. You just need to rest a little bit more. But burnout, when you just feel as though nothing new is able to you're not able to generate any new ideas, I think that's a different thing. And that typically comes from boredom. So one thing that I've done is I've made it intentional, or I'm being more intentional about just trying new experiences. Doesn't have to be anything extravagant all the time, but just simply getting out of my space and look to do something different so I can engage with a new type of process or see how someone else has designed their customer experience. I'm pretty good at being able to connect the dots. If I'm going through an experience and I see something that I like, I'm able to connect the dots and typically say, oh, I know why this business or this, experience is doing it this way. And I can almost, steal their strategy in a sense, right? I get inspired by those things. I love taking part in something that is really well designed. That's why I'm such a big fan of Apple, as you all have seen last week. Nicky was bashing them, and I was like, no, it sounds like a great idea to me. And so
Right.
I'm always inspired by greatness. I know for me, that's definitely one of them, is try new experiences. And then the second thing, and I don't know that this was anything different, but I actually went back to my older post things that worked, and I thought of new ways to recreate them. Because if it already worked once, why try to put the pressure on yourself to do something completely different? No, just go back and recreate a different version of it, bring it back in a new way. And so I've done that a couple of times lately as well. And that's been pretty helpful.
I like that.
Yeah.
People in the chat or the replay, have you, yes or no, have you experienced creative burnout this year? We're in wait, what month is this? June. What is 6? Yeah, golly. Like halfway through. So have you experienced creative burnout? Say yes, say no, almost. Let us know, because it's a real thing that does need to be spoken about and figure out, how do we, I can't necessarily say stop it, but how do we manage it a little bit better so it won't affect us so long? You feel me? It's important. But I did see a question. T96 said, I always struggle with content as a cake artist. Why? Make cakes. I feel like I was only supposed to post what I create or me in the creating process. What if it's a slow week? What do I do? Can we validate, or can we approve other people's cake design, right? Can we look at some stuff and then try it ourselves in a mini way, right? We went over, the creator of the week was Corey B. last episode, right? And all he does is look at different recipes and he recreates it. So you may not get any orders, but you may see some tricks because you're always learning, because you're a student of the game, and you may be like, let me try this out. And you try it and it could work out, or it could be a fail, right? 1 to 10, should I do it again? You feel me? So if it's a slow week, if you don't have to create anything, use other people's content and try it out. See what works. You know what I mean?
Love that. Love that.
The same.
I love that.
Anyways, shout out to everybody who has been giving us super chats. If you're on Facebook, giving us stars. We appreciate that. This is what helps the channel to keep going, to be able to give the content that we do, and to go live the way we go, because this stuff is expensive. So we appreciate all the love and support that you do, especially those people who subscribe to our newsletter, even from a free standpoint, who share our content, who lets people know about the podcast. Support doesn't only mean from a monetizing thing. So if you just share our stuff, or whether you do give us some tips or super chats and stars. We appreciate you super, super much. Don't forget, Audio Experience is out with Marshall Fox, episode 141. Go check that out. The Video Experience, because y'all here and y'all like video, drops Wednesdays, 8 p.m. Eastern. Really dope. Isaiah is the man with the edits. So he's adding B-roll, he's adding GIFs, he does it all. He gives a really great experience from a video side of it. Shout out to Eddie, who takes care of the audio side of things to make sure that that audio experience is great. Moose, I appreciate you. I appreciate everybody in the chat. Hello. Yeah. We have 216 comments this time. Y'all are amazing. So give a round of applause for yourselves, because we appreciate you. But Moose, thank you for the combo.
Yeah, no, this was great. Thank you for pouring out the way you did. This was definitely fire.
No problem. That's what I'm here for. You know what I mean? Anyways, people, we are out. We will be back live next Tuesday. Make sure you have you subscribe to our YouTube channel. You have the bell on, because the full video of episode 141 drops tomorrow. We appreciate you. We love you. And you know what we're going to say.
Peace, y'all.